Hey guys, it's your girl Anyango here, hoping that you are healthy, wealthy, and free, and loving your life is how we do. So, I was listening to a YouTube video with where Tom Bilyeu was interviewing Vusi Temekwayo. I hope you know Vusi Temekwayo. If you do not, I am sorry. I am so sorry. Find him and listen to him. He is just genius on a platter. Literally made like to-do list of everything that you want to be. Anywho, there was something that he mentioned during his interview. Busi mentioned during this interview, and it was about identity. And he says that we currently, in our time, we are so bound by the idea of having an identity. You want to be tall, short, you want to be brown skin, dark skin, you want to be black, white, you want to be rich, you want to be happy, you want to, like there are all these identity tags, hashtags, hashtags that we're trying to live up to in every post that we have, Facebook or whatever. Now I'm adding on to what he said. But we all want to be part of some identity, want to identify with something or a particular someone or type of people or race. And what he says is that this wanting to be identified as a particular person tends to, in this day of ours, put us in a box as opposed to freeing us, as opposed to giving us a sense of freedom. Because once you say that you are short, he gives this example, and then you say short people cannot model, and you've put yourself in a box. You've instinctively, by calling yourself short, you have put yourself in this box that limits you to not doing stuff that non-short people do not do. And another thing that he mentions is that all these identifiers are man-made. They are all man-made. They are all made by man. When we were created, or when we came up or became, we just are. We just were. I mean, we evolved, but then you just are human being, Homo sapien sapien. You just are. But all these identifiers that classify you into one group or another are then based on man. Man has given you these limitations by giving you these descriptions. And not that they're bad, at least according to me. I don't think it's so bad to be able to identify yourself in these spaces and places and find your people, and there's safety in numbers. Let's rally together and figure out what works for us. I don't think that's a bad thing. Where the detriment comes in is when you limit yourself because of this particular thing or identifier. So something that Tom Bilyeu says is that somebody came up to him one time and asked him, a black person walked up to him and asked him, do you think that I, as a black American, are at a disadvantage, in life, in making it in life? And he said, for one, he called it the school of fish syndrome, is that people tend to gravitate towards people that are like them, that are similar to them. And already being a minority race, just as black people, because we are fewer than Caucasians, just by that fact alone, it means that we are already at a disadvantage. Now, let alone all the other disadvantages that are heaped up above that, okay? So already we are at a disadvantage because man's mind just works the way it works. So another thing that came to mind as he was saying that is that if we now use this as a reason to stop us, as a reason to stop us from moving forward, then you will always limit yourself. Now, this is what Vusi said as one of the things that helped him make it, because Vusi be doing good. I mean, he's doing good. And he says that all these identifiers that he has, he makes sure that they do not limit him. For one, he says that if somebody else has done it, then I have no reason not to. We know this, right? He also says that your limitations and your excuses are real. It's not that they're not real. If you are born black, it's true. If you are born in an underdeveloped country, this is true. These are all true. Now, it is whether you want to go for the emotion of it. He says you either get the emotion or you get progress. So if you want to go for the emotion of it and feel bad about it, then you get that. If you want to go for progress, then you get the progress. You work hard and you get the progress. But at no point are you able to get both of them. You choose either to live in the emotion or to live in the progress. Okay? And something else that he mentions is that right now we are no longer a demographic, we are a psychographic. He says that a child in, he mentioned a country, I don't remember, but I think it was around, did he say Pakistan or something? Around that area in the Middle East. And he says that a child from there could be speaking with an American accent because of the movies that he watches and the type of stuff that he's exposed to. Okay? So even without him having left his own city or town. So it's no longer a matter of what limits you by your physicality. It's now a matter of a psychographic. What are you exposed to? What do you think? How do you think? How does this affect you? And at this point, that is now a choice that you need to make. So you're no longer a demographic limited by the physical things around you. Now we have the internet that can give you basically anything that you want, anywhere in the world. So we need to go beyond these identifiers, these limitations, these hashtags that we so want to, follow and live by and attain. And this brought me to a conversation that I had with a new friend. And because we're so strongly for Black Lives Matter and empowerment, Black empowerment and all of this, and as mentioned, there is nothing wrong with this. The problem comes in when our need to be identified as Black or to not be identified as Black has a reverse psychological effect. Because we want Black lives to matter, yes, as all lives matter, and right now it is the Black lives that we are fighting for. The problem is that now you are immediately seen as a Black person, Not that you were not seen before, but that's now, there's a kind of stigma that comes along with it. Not to you, because you have always been, but to the person who is looking at you. In most cases would be a Caucasian person. And I believe that the state, the utopia that we're all fighting for, is a point where we can all just live without seeing the color. And I'm not saying be colorblind, because we must see the color, but not to care about the color, to see it as just another person. You're just another person, regardless of what race you are from or what part of the continent you're originally from, right? That is the eventual goal, I suppose. And it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy mental state to get to, because there's so much happening, especially today. But if I can get to a point where I am not just dark-skinned, African, kinky head, or Afro head, or 4C type, or female even, or medium height, or all of these things that we use. If a person were to ask me, Anyango, who are you? And I could start off with, I'm a person who wants to change the world in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways. Because I just remembered that there was a description that I gave, a biography, whatever, profile, something. We're always filling in some sort of profile these days. And I started off with, I'm an African, I am this many years old, and that is immediately identifying me, putting me in a demographic as opposed to a psychographic. What am I? Who am I minus all of this physicality? Who am I when it's just me? Who am I when you cannot see me? That kind of thing. And if we can just stop trying to see the physical, even in myself, if I can just stop trying to see the physical and see the inside, see the intellectual, see the health, not physical, but how healthy I am, just my body, then it's not always going to be a fight about which demographic is being targeted or manipulated. It's just a person that we are trying to help and to make better. So if I were to ask you, who are you? Tell me who you are intellectually, psychologically, healthily. Tell me who you are. I am Anyango Agoko. I'm a person that just is trying to make the world a little bit better in my own little way. Okay. I'll see you in the next video.